So this is my Journal 3 entry, English Comp, and today is Plessy versus Ferguson, 1 through 20, the mismeasurement of man, 51 through 62. In the selected text that we're considering in Plessy versus Ferguson is the introduction. It plays a very important role in our understanding of the context in which the original documents were written. It tells the story of a group of African American teachers riding on a train who experienced racism and harassment from the townspeople, and how it led to a domino effect of changes in political policy by challenging segregation laws and determining when federal law trumps state law. This is all occurring during the aftermath of the Civil War, when Reconstruction was not fully realized, and the South continued to entertain their own policies that continued to oppress African Americans. The Civil Rights Act was crucial in securing citizenship for African Americans, yet it did not guarantee equal treatment. There were still unspoken and implied racial hierarchies that were to be overcome. Civil rights did not necessarily assure a citizen of social or political rights, which were addressed in later amendments, which granted black men the right to vote. What is noteworthy to me is the qualifications that were put in place, such as literacy tests for black voters. The introduction also examines how the Dred Scott case of 1857 and the slaughterhouse cases and how they played a role in the idea of the pursuit of liberty and how that was interpreted. And it's really interesting to see the development of language and use of qualifiers in these laws and the way that it was used to define citizenship criteria. And how it changed the outcomes of the lives of those people in that era. The mismeasurement of man was also headed by an introduction that lends context to the development of the idea of biological determinism. So this concept that social and radical classes are determined biologically by measure of intelligence. The author, examining the historical and political context of the science involved with the research, the author, so Gould, is examining the historical and political context of the science involved with the research, challenging its validity, and challenging the validity of the research, interpreting how the findings then shaped the ideas held by society. So the scientific method that was used at that time was later interpreted as being a tool to promote political agendas and ensure the established racial hierarchy. As a reader, I'm intrigued to see how this information is going to be presented because of the advancements in science and modern day medicine, and the ability to disprove this sort of archaic pseudoscience that's being presented. I'm also interested to see how these methods were later debunked and how it affected the direction of societal perceptions on race. In both of the selected texts, we are given insight into the way that language, perceptions, and misinformation had a crucial role to play in the views on race superiority and or inferiority at that period in history. The main idea is to help the reader see how the progression in race issues were directly related to the rhetoric of the time. In the grand scheme of things, it has not been so long ago that slavery was an accepted practice, and we certainly did not abolish it overnight, nor did we change the views on racism overnight either. What is being focused on here is the way that those perceptions were shaped and changed by this language, by this science, albeit bad science. Both selections had me questioning the processes that were used and how that led us to where we are today. and how much further there is yet to go in terms of banishing racist beliefs, because they're still there. So that's it for my Journal 3. Thanks for listening. Have a good day.